Hi folks, tonight I'm going to tie a fly from my youth. This is a traditional Claret Dabbler. Again, this is not one of these fancy fluorescent sparkly flies. This is a traditional fly, and to me it's as close as I can get to the original. So let's get stuck in. If you're tying these flies, probably go with a B175 shape, but that's not a hook that I use, so that's my standard B130, which you'll probably struggle to get in a few shops. But starting back from the eye, using the thread, holding it tight, keep it pretty upright, and that means we can come down the body with touching turns. Throughout the time, we're going to really focus on keeping the underbody of this flat, because it's going to be a floss fly. So just to show you on bronze mallard, right, because it's a little bit different to say pheasant tail and the like. So if as the feather sits there, these tips are not square, so depending where you take them off, to get them square you will need to pull them to different angles. Sometimes it'll be here, sometimes it'll be there, so it depends where it is in the feather. If you just figure out that, yeah, they're coming off a little bit, so I probably need this angle here, and just take them off. So there's my little tail, and again you can do this with standard pheasant tail, but I find this lasts longer. So body length, I'm looking a little bit longer than how I would do the gold dabbler, but approximately a hook shank and a quarter or so. So pinch and loop. And again, we're focusing on flat body. So any fly with a tail, I always put the rib at the back. It makes for an easier tying. So I've tied the gold rib on there, full body length, and then I'm going to come up there with reasonable touch and turns, and then chop off the waist. So the body of this fly, I was kindly donated the original Dromore Angling Club colour. So this is the real jawbone. So if you want to take a freeze frame or whatever to match it, you can. So again, every turn of your thread you're twisting your silk, so I'm going to unwind this a little bit. So as I spin anti-clockwise, you'll see the thread gets flat, and that just helps with keeping this underbody ready for a floss body, because with seal's fur you're going to be able to bulk it up in certain areas, but with a floss body whatever preparation work you've done here, that's it. So body here, just watch the hook point and come up the body in ever so slightly overlapping wraps. There's going to be a big hackle in this, so if you don't want to miss any bits, but just check there, right, no gaps. So body done. Palmered hackle. This is this would be an Indian cape. It's definitely not genetic. So we're going to pick one feather to do the whole fly with in this case. So we're not going to be too worried about hackle length. Want a good strong coverage of hackles. So if you want to see how your first hackle is going to be, you can set it on here and you'll see how far it is, and that's about right. So I'm just going to prepare that. Again, with any cock hackle I tie them in dry fly style, so it just prevents the stalk cracking. So again, my camera's on a tripod in front of me, so I'm going to do the first few turns here with my fingers. Otherwise I'll hit it. So, hackle pliers on, and then come down the body reasonably quickly, because again we want to see the body. Again, watching the hook point. So again, you'll see here with the rib on the far side, whenever I turned it round, the hook shank there, the tail didn't even budge, so that's why we're doing that. Up the body, 4, 5 turns, and then tie it off at the front. And snip this off. So I'm just preparing for the wing, and it's not a bad idea with this wing to give it a bit of wax. So for the darker Dabblers and my modern Clarets, I prefer to use darker wing. So you'll see this one here is a bit light on the inside, but if we check, if we pull these up square, we can just check if they're going to be long enough, which they are. So there's no white showing. So I'm going to use this feather. So how to prepare this is, first of all, get rid of the junk, and these points are sloping back, so I want to just bring them up to whatever angle it is. It might even be back a bit. Get the point square at that angle. Take off that wee slip, and as you go up you will have to pull it back less and less, so this time it's almost 90 degrees square. So for this fly I will need 3. So this time here it's actually slightly forward, point square, take off that slip. So it's hard for me to show, but off camera I'm setting those 3 prepared slips on top of each other, keeping the darkest one to the outside. So we've got, change that one round actually. So we've now got 3 slips on top of each other, and they're quite wide. So with this fly, I like my wing approximately halfway down the tail, and that means you get them all the same. So I'm going to hold the feathers on slightly on the underside of the hook, and instead of a normal wing where you're doing a pinch and loop, we're almost going to do this. We're using that wax thread to roll the fibres all the way around. So this is a fully cloaked fly. A couple of turns till we have a look, and lo and behold, it didn't go all the way around, so we have to just move it. Again, just make sure your thread is tight, otherwise the whole thing will. So again, there's a wee, you just keep massaging this to get it right. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to lift everything up and do a couple of turns of a whip finish at the eye. So this allows me to do all my snipping or trimming, and there's no risk of me knocking the thread off the eye. or the wing becoming terribly loose. Oh, nearly made a mistake there. These little scissors are great for this. So again, I've left plenty of room here, so these butts I'm not terribly worried about, because I'm going to start at the eye. So this is the secret with all flies, is to start at the eye. Instead of coming here and trying to bind them down, start at the eye and work back. So as I'm coming up here, I'm winding through these butts. Okay, and then I can come down through it, and look, nothing slid off. So I'm going to flatten the thread again, and this means that any little butts or whatever that are showing up are definitely going to get trapped. So we're ready now for a whip finish. So I'm doing the whip finish here. Just 1 second. So I have the thread flat, which doesn't do a great whip finish, so I'm going to put it clockwise again. So this means we've got one thread, and I'm doing the whip finish going forward. I don't like doing the whip finish going back, it's weaker. So a couple of whip finishes are good. And then snip that off. So that is the original Claret Dabbler, as close as I can get it anyway. There's no UV, there's no fluorescence, it's a proper trout fly. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and if you've got any questions you can drop me a note on YouTube. I don't put many videos up, so I would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button. Just means you'll get notified of any new content. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and happy Christmas to you all.